Sister to Sister Connection talk show. My name's Letitia Campbell, and I got my girl, Miss Tawanta Davis. Y'all, you doing a gang sign, girl?
No.
The gang sign. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining on the show. For those of you who are new to watching us, we do this show every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show is about spirituality, sisterhood, and stability. And we talk about a lot of hard-hitting topics, have a lot of hard-hitting conversations during this show. So we love audience participation. You know what? We love y'all so much that we have an afterglow after the show, meaning that every time we do the show, after the show, we go on Zoom and we just dive more deeper into the topic, or we just discuss whatever you guys want to discuss. So we will be sharing the Zoom link throughout the show. So yeah, we have a great topic to talk about tonight. Before we get into the topic, Tawanta and I had something exciting to share with you guys. And I've actually shared this last week, right? We do something called self-care every month. Okay. And self-care, is about, getting you to focus on self, helping you to become more self-aware of who you are, to whom you are, and all the things. But yeah, also to explain a little bit what self-care is for the ladies as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Self-care is something that we as women need on a daily basis. How about that? It's something that, it's not just about us getting our physical beauty going on or what have you, getting refreshed, but it's also internally. So a lot of times we get so wrapped up with life, we don't even think about, doing a self-care for us internally because we hold so much in. And so having this opportunity to come together to do this self-care event, I think it's so important, so necessary, so vital for our emotional being, our emotional well-being. So as Letitia said, we have an event that is coming up April 29th. We're looking so super duper excited for it. We cannot wait to get it started because we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about how to stabilize, our sanity, how to, be calm in the midst of the storm, how to balance life when things are just overwhelming and all those things. And, we don't really talk about this stuff. We really, really don't. We pretty much just try to stuff it down by, eating, carbs, foods and stuff we don't need in our body, in our system, right? Or we just try our best to avoid the inevitable. But again, it doesn't do anything for us except stress us more and cause us more emotional and physical pain, distress, if you will. So yeah, Letitia's going to explain more in depth about how to get that started, how you guys can be able to register and all those things. But yes, we are super duper excited about what's coming up this coming April.
Yes, we really are. And for those of you who don't know, the date to our self-care event is actually going to be on April 29th. Hey, Therese. Therese just popped on. Hey, girl. We was worried about you, mama.
Yeah.
It's going to be on April 29th. So you definitely want to save that date. You definitely want to grab your tickets as well. You can go to grab your tickets at www.sister-to-sister-connection.com. That's where you're going to go to. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong date up there. That's where you're going to go to grab your ticket. So it's going to be on April 29th. If you guys happen to have any questions throughout the show about our self-care event, please feel free to share it in the chat and we'll definitely have somebody reply back to your message. Okay. So
and also,
yeah.
I add to, this is an opportunity for you ladies to share this information to other sisters to participate in this event. It's not inclusive, meaning that it's not just for us alone. It's for all sisters, whether they're part of our tribe or not. So make sure, y'all, that you pass this information, share this information on your news feed or even on your messenger or just in, a conversation. Our goal is to really have an ensemble of women from all walks of life to be a part of this because it does apply to all of us.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Tawanta, because so many of us sometimes are suffering in silence. It's like someone mentioned this the other day. Why sometimes while we're leading, we're really bleeding on the inside. So it's so
Mm,
important that, in honor of your own personal mental health, ladies, that you connect outside of your circle with other ladies. I think that's so
yeah.
healthy. Sometimes when you stay in your in your secluded circle, you don't learn anything new, you don't gain anything new, you don't sometimes see your way out of situations. But when you get in different circles and you're seeing different things as possible for other people, it just makes your life more easier and you're getting different perspectives about things. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, Tuate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that will make a huge impact if we just, pass this, forward,
Hmm.
to all of those sisters out there that may have heard of us before and may
Hmm.
have watched our show before, on
Absolutely. Yeah.
via YouTube, if not on Facebook or what have you, but they really didn't take the time out, or they probably forgot to join our
Right.
tribe or what have you. So yeah,
Right.
make sure you pass this message out to your sister friends so they could be a part of this event.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again,
Hey,
guys, the link is
Diane.
there. Hey, Diane, sister to sister connection.com. That's where you're going to go to buy your tickets. Diane, did you get your ticket yet, sis? Let us know if you got your ticket. If throughout the show, if you purchase your ticket, please say so in the chat so we can celebrate you, so we can thank you, also so that we can congratulate you. So let's get on into tonight's topic. Every week, Tawanta and I meet. We have our sister to sister connection planning meetings, and we dive into how we're going to discuss each topic that we bring up on the show. Now, for me personally, I can totally relate to this topic. I know definitely, Tawanta, you can too. So let's bring it up. Let's bring up the topic for tonight. And as you guys are watching, please make sure that you pass this broadcast on, text the link to somebody, you know, tag someone and invite somebody into this conversation. So tonight we're talking about be prepared for the
Mhm.
unexpected. How
Mm.
many of you felt that? Type in me. Hey, Miss Sean. Type in me if the pandemic was something that was unexpected. I know it was bothersome. I know it was aggravating. I know it was all the things, right? But type of me for you in your life, it was unexpected. I'm gonna raise my hand to that because it absolutely was for me. Okay, because we were breaking into 2020 like it was nobody's business. January and February and
Okay.
March came was like
Okay.
early on in the year.
Yes. Yes. Woo.
And this conversation is more than just about pandemic and things like that, but I'm gonna leave it to
Yes.
my girl Tawanta to really dive into set this topic up for you ladies tonight. Go ahead, Tawanta.
Oh yeah, I mean that. Of course, going back to that conversation about COVID and everything, no one was
Mhm.
prepared for it at all.
Oh
Even though
no.
it was brought into the news and all of those things, and
Hmm.
but we was not expecting the waterfall, if you will,
Hmm.
to happen so instantly and so suddenly, to the point that it just shut down everything and whatnot. And even people thought that it was just gonna pass by
Right.
next week or two or whatever, and saw that that weekend too lasted almost 2 years, so
Oh yes.
over 2 years at least. So a lot of us were not prepared, and a lot of people were not prepared in terms of losing their jobs
Hmm.
and all kinds of things. So we're going
Right.
to talk more in depth about what things we need to be prepared for, what we need to start focusing now versus at the last minute when you have
Hmm.
very little to nothing to keep you going. Yeah, so we're just going to get onto that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Let's go ahead and jump into number one. And thank you guys for your means and your transparency and all that. And anything you want to add or contribute to this conversation, please do so in the chat. We never get offended when you guys put your 2 cents into the conversation because we want y'all to do that. All right. So point
Hmm.
number one is financial adjustment. Dive into that,
Hmm.
Tawana.
Absolutely, yes. That's something, ladies, we definitely need to start being prepared for is
Hmm.
our financial situation. Of course, let's go back to the pandemic. Of course, when the jobs had shut down, when everything shut down, all the business shut down, we knew that it was going to be a major crisis financially for a lot of families out there,
Hmm.
because we did not know how long it was going to be shut down, and it was shut down for a good while, as we all know.
Right.
And of course, we didn't know where the money's going to come from. We don't know how we're going to, take care of our kids, our family, this, that, and so on. But thank God that he made a way through the government that, they opened up the windows of their of the government over there and poured some money for those family that needed that additional resource, that needed that, that cushion, if you will, to get us over, to get us through that process, if you will. So again, right now, we're still in that kind of situation where there's still people who are still without jobs. They may have found a job, but they're not getting paid what they're worth. The job that they had prior to COVID, of course, they don't have it anymore. And if they still have the job, maybe there have been some major changes, where that has also affected their salary.
Absolutely.
Right. So there's a lot of things going on that of course, we don't really hear often on the news, but you best believe it is happening. People are still trying to survive above water,
Right.
just to figure out how they're going to take care of their families and all those things. Right. Everybody has their own different seasons. Some of you may not even be affected right now, financially wise. Some of you probably doing very, very well, and that is great. But it may not be like that always, but this is the opportunity for us now, because you know what, soon summer is going to arrive, and everybody knows when summer gets here, people go on vacation. And I was telling Letitia yesterday, I said, I believe this season, this coming summer, more people are going to definitely take full advantage of going on vacation than they did last summer and the summer before that. Right. Because people just all now just being more free,
Right.
and more, what have you. And I get it. People need that R&R. People need to just relax, just to get away. And I get that. But in the meantime, while you are having that time away from time away and with your family, friends, this is the opportunity that you really need to start budgeting, plan, start to not, waste your money like you used to. Be conservative on certain things, even when it comes to your family vacations and stuff like that, or what have you. Because here's the thing, guys, what we are starting now, it's going to affect our future. That future within the next 6-7 months from now, if you will, or let's say from June up until the holidays, right?
Absolutely.
And by the time November or October gets here, guys, will you have the means to support you and your family? Because it's not guaranteed that when you get off your family vacation, that you're going to have that job. It's not
Exactly.
guaranteed that even if you do get the job, that your salary is going to remain the same.
That's
They
right.
may do
That's
a
right.
pay cut. They probably get 50%, 15% deducted from their salary, and that hurts.
Yes, it does.
It makes a huge difference. I'm a living witness to that, right? So again, we need to really start paying better attention on how we utilize our finances, and start having that conversation. Because I'm not really a fan of having that conversation, but it is what we need to do. Have that conversation with the family and talk about how to budget, how to save, how to create things, how to put a savings account or a nest egg account, whatever you need to do. Because when the future does come, will you have enough to support you and your family? Because we
Very
don't
true.
know
Yeah.
what is going to occur when it comes to another COVID situation or another variant, because that's still flowing, that's still going on, y'all. They're
That's
still
right.
talking about all these different variants floating in the air and all that stuff. So we still don't know what tomorrow's going to be like, but we do not want to be caught, without any type of support financially.
Right.
What do you think, Patricia?
Even looking beyond that as well. Also, look, am I echoing?
No.
Okay. Also looking at how the expenses are going up. So
Right.
you're sort of like anxious on whether or not there's going to be another shutdown, and then you're looking at the prices going up. So that means that what you spent 2 years ago on eggs or milk or what have you, the essentials, you're actually spending probably double that now. So
Oh,
financially
yes.
adjustment also means more than just, am I going to have a job next month? It's really about, am I going to be able to afford when also afford these unexpected expenses that come up and the prices going up and things like that. So that's another thing. One of the biggest advice I always give people all the time is have more than one stream of income. Okay, I am echoing.
I
How am
don't,
I?
you're fine to me.
Am I still echoing now, guys? Let me know if I'm echoing because I'm not hearing it anymore.
I'm not, you're not echoing at
So
all.
yeah, so it probably stopped. Yeah. But like I was saying, it's like I'm hearing it again. That's weird. Maybe I have to go out and come back in. But as I was
Mhm.
saying before, I always tell people to have other streams of income, have other streams of cash flow. And what I mean by that, I'm not trying to say, have another stream of cash flow instantly that gives you 6, 7 figures. It's not really realistic, but even something that you can still hear it. Okay, I probably have to go out and come back in. But even something as little as something that's going to pay your grocery bill or something that's going to put something on your light bill, anything that's going to help you get by and get you through these times of uncertainty. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also with the financial adjustments, that also includes, balancing your bills as well. Like I said, Letitia and I, we had a deep discussion yesterday about, all these different components about, what we're going to talk about. And in that financial adjustments, we was just talking about, bills too. We need to make sure our bills are up to date, as current. Maybe you probably have to work with that particular provider or that company or what have you in terms of doing monthly payments, monthly plans, and all those things like that, or whatever you need to do, so you can be able to have, have the financial, um, you know, cushion, as I said before, for you and your family. I know for me and my family, my daughters are older now, so thankfully we don't have to be overly concerned about in a sense about making sure our kids are eating and there's lights and all that stuff going on. Even though, of course, we still got to think about those things, but of course, again, we just have to be careful because, again, inflation, everything has gone up, and we just have to be mindful. I mean, we can argue about it, complain about it all day long, but it's here. Okay, so what are we doing about it? What are we doing? We got to make some changes, because when inflation happens, that means we have to make changes. And of course, people don't like to make changes. People are comfortable where they are, but you have to make those adjustments in order to survive, in order to have roof over your head, have the lights on, have the heat on, or whatever it is, and also bringing the food in the house and all of that stuff. Also, when it comes to financial adjustments, like Letitia was saying, is that it's important for us to have the multiple streams of income as well. And I also mentioned yesterday that not everybody is an entrepreneur,
Right.
have that entrepreneur spirit in them, and that's totally understandable. There are women that are just all about working outside of that home, and that is
Right.
okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you are satisfied where you are, maybe it's good. Maybe you should consider doing a part-time job or something, on the weekends, or whatever you have to do, so you can have that additional flow of income coming in. And sometimes, and even now, you see that more people are actually working online more now, than than
Right.
before. People are making their stream of income that way too now. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there are different components, different avenues, different ways of how you can be able to bring in more income, versus, focusing on that main income, which is your job, your 9 to 5 job, or what have you. Because you got
Right.
to, let's keep it real. And Letitia said this many, years ago. She said, your job is not loyal. Your jobs are not
No, they're not.
they are not your friend. I mean, I don't care how long you've been working with that company, for 20 plus, 10 plus, or whatever length of years. But when they
Right.
are going through something, and when it comes to that money, they will downsize very quickly, and they will get rid of what they need to get rid of. Okay. And that will be you, your department, your crew, your team, whatever it is. You will probably be the first person to be gone. Oh, wow. She said Disney is laying off 7,000 people. Wow. Wow. 7,000 people. That's That's wild. Okay. And I don't know what type of jobs it is, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just a job where people was looking forward to getting paid so they can take care of their families. We were also talking about the cost of things again, like the medical bills and even like buying prescription pills and stuff, how it's so expensive to buy those things, even out of pocket, because some people don't have insurance, what have you. And even if you do, some of the insurance may not cover everything,
Right.
and all of that too. So, these are things that I know is very frustrating for a lot of people, but it definitely needs to be taken care of. It's so important. If you have little kids, I get it.
Yeah.
Kids want to, you want to bless your kids. You want to make sure your kids have everything or what have you. But at some point, you just going to have to say, you have more than enough in that room.
Right.
You have enough clothes, you have enough shoes, you have games, you got to, whatever it is. I'm not going back out and buying any more stuff. They got to understand the value of a dollar at a young age.
Right.
Explain it to them the way they know how they can comprehend that. But, you know, we cannot just waste the money anymore because we see
Right. Right.
where we are in these days. We see where we are right now with the economy, with the government. It's just not getting any better. There's no point to try to camouflage that. We are in hard
Mhm.
times. We're just in
That's
hard
right.
times, right? What do you think,
That's right.
Tisha?
And let me know if y'all still hear echo. But also getting your children understanding the value of hard work. I feel like it's much better to reward a child when they've actually, put in that hard work to not like go out there and get a job, but doing certain things around the house. Really, really taking, even with school, when it came to the pandemic, what happened was a lot of children they ended up, not making as high as the grades as they used to. So it's now they have that whole sense of that syndrome of like failure. So it's like really rewarding your kids and getting them to understand that. Another going back to financial adjustment though, always look at other ways to bring cash flow into your household. It doesn't even have to be a business. Like Tawansa said, there's tons of online employment that you can look into. Yes, some of them are not going to be successful, right? And some of them are going to be successful, but we can't be reliant on one thing anymore. You just
Hmm.
can't. You never know. Hey, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to come up. You know, it's a lot going on. So make sure you create those financial adjustments. And no one's saying you got to just go straight cheap, like put water in the half a gallon of milk and try to strip. No, not
Yeah.
to that extent. But there's so
Mhm.
much that you can do to make sure you are financially stable.
Right. Yeah. And like I said again, because this is something I believe we should not rush into. Hey, Lakita,
Yeah.
we should really, really take this at heart seriously because we all been affected by the pandemic in some form of fashion. I'm a
Yep.
survivor from it, and I thank God I'm alive because I was really, really sick and all of that. But
Mhm.
even through that
Yep.
process. Um, Even through that process, of course, I saw how people were struggling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People were going through so much and all those things. And, God forbid if we have to go through that again. And we were not prepared for
No,
that
we were not.
pandemic. And I don't think we're prepared now for what is to come.
No. Yeah.
We're gonna fall right back into that same position that a lot of our families and friends have been. Well, oh, I don't have enough money to, or I can't afford to, or what have you, because I wasn't being smart with my money spending. I wasn't really, saving or anything like that, or what have you. And ladies, we have that power within us to make a major change when
Oh
it comes to
yes.
our financial.
It's
Uh,
interesting you said that because I wrote down the word control. Like, don't listen to these conversations, but listen to other conversations and think that you don't have the power of control to change and adjust your financial situation. The easiest thing people do is say, well, this is what I'm making. This is all I can do. I'm going to fix income. You're in a world where you can change that. I was at a school meeting earlier today with my oldest daughter, and one of the teachers said, because we were in the library, and I was like, oh man, I remember my library in middle school was like nothing but books. Now they have computers and printers and all these things,
yeah.
and we just had books. And she was like, yeah, I tell the kids all the time that y'all have the world at your fingertips.
Now, just imagine if, the pandemic happened 20 years ago, right? Then really people would be in trouble because there was not really the internet like that. There wasn't like online jobs. There wasn't such thing as digital
That's right.
nomads or anything like that. Like you literally had to just ride it out and just, ride it out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Well, now we're in the world of the internet, and it surprises me how many people feel they can't make a lot of money online when you
Mm-hmm.
see so many people who are already doing it, and you see the big possibilities. You see whole companies going online now. You see
Mm-hmm.
companies that currently had a front, like a office space building, high rise in the
Yeah.
city, and now they're like, oh, we're going to go straight remote. And we see that, that tells you alone that there's so much potential out there. But if you're going to doubt yourself, then of course you're not going to make any money. Of course you're not going to make those financial adjustments because you're already going off of, I don't think that's possible for me. Even though you see it for so many businesses and online and offline businesses as well. So you do have control, ladies. You have ultimate control over your financial future. And we're in a different world than we were way back then. So much
Yeah.
more opportunity. Go ahead.
Absolutely, for real. Because, I remember back in the day in the 80s, my mom was a single parent raising me, and she never had a,
Right,
9 to 5 job. She was basically cleaning houses and stuff like that. And that was
right,
not
right.
consistent. And so she got paid based on, the work that she'd have completed.
Right.
It was
Labor.
my stepfather, when he was sober, I will put it that way, when he was, you know, he worked as a mechanic, and he was bringing in the bulk of the income, and that
Right.
really helped us a lot at that time. But when things were kind of crazy, we felt that pinch, and it
You
was
felt
kind of
it.
hard
Yeah.
for my mom.
Big
She had to,
sickness in the air.
yeah, she had to look for additional jobs and stuff like that just to try to support us and everything and keep food on the table and even keep the
Right.
electricity on and all those things like that. And that was in the mid 80s, and
Right.
here it is over 30 some years later or 40 some years later now, we're, pretty much in the same situation. There's families are going through that same similar
Right.
situation
Right. Very
now,
true.
you know and again, we have, well, I don't know how you all experienced your childhood, but at some point in time, how it felt without having money. You know how
Yeah.
it felt when you just had that little bit of change and you had to stretch that dollar, stretch them coins,
That's
and
right.
it wasn't no fun, it wasn't easy, but we found a way how to make do with it.
You made it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But again, you don't want to continue to be that. You don't want that to be your life all the
That's
time.
right. Because wealth is your birthright, ladies.
Yeah.
Someone told me this a long time ago. Wealth is your birthright.
Yeah.
And it's having that mindset to say, yes, I was brought up this way. Yes, this is all my parents had. Yes, they had to struggle and work and labor and all that stuff. Um, and even when you're building up wealth, you're going to go through the same thing.
Right.
Entrepreneurs are the most cheapest people you'll ever meet in your life because
Mm-hmm.
they leverage money as a bridge. So
Yeah.
even with that, you got to change your mindset about money. I watch a lot of videos and I'm reading a lot of books about wealth. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
make 6 figures this year or 7 figures this year, you can go on Amazon and find some books that are that 6 figures and 7 figure heirs made. So that
That's
way you can
true.
open your mind to more things. We're so quick to say that's not going to happen for me, or I can't do that, or it's not possible, right? You got to get out there and start opening your mind to more possibilities than just what you have right now. Because
Right.
your life is what you make it. Yeah.
Right. And so, ladies, put in the comments and let us know, how
Mhm.
are you, how are you working with your financial? Are you,
Yes. How
do you
you
have
say?
like a checking account? Do you have a savings account? Are you really being budget friendly? What are
Yes.
your techniques, or, your way of how to, you know, how to save your money, because everybody has their own
Right.
different way of how to,
Right.
budget and to not overspend, those kind of things. Post that down in the comments for us as we move forward to the next point. The next point that we want to share with you, of
Hmm.
what you guys definitely need to be prepared to do, is about job alterations.
Yes.
And basically what that is about, what we were just talking about is, of course, the job situation is, it's a seesaw kind of thing. There's nothing stabilized about it at all.
Right.
It's still an issue where a lot of people are not getting the jobs of their dreams, or just say not
Right.
getting the
Right.
jobs that is of their value. They're not getting paid according to the work that they have put in down through the years. They're
Right.
just settling with whatever is available so they can be able to pay the bills or what have you. If you're currently working at a job right now, check all of the benefits of what is there for you, and to
Right.
see how what's entails for you when it comes to you
Mhm.
and your retirement and all these things. Do they
Mhm.
have something like a package deal or something of that sort? I haven't worked for over since I was in my 20s, okay, because I'm a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure things have changed down through the years when it comes to that. But again, we need to not get comfortable
Right.
with what we have, because again, jobs are not loyal. Jobs are not your friends. No matter how long you have been working with that company or that organization, things can change overnight, right?
Absolutely. Just like
During the
that without notice.
Exactly, because during the time at
Yeah.
the early stages of the pandemic, at COVID, before they even call it a pandemic, then people, when they had ordered all the jobs to be closed down, a lot of people thought that they was going to be back at work
Back
like
at work within
that
weeks and it
week
happened.
later, if not 2 weeks later, and then they
Yeah.
come to find out that they were not going to be back for a good while. And then the
Mhm.
question was like, will I still have this job? Will I still
Mhm.
have my position and this, that, or what have you? And then you find out later on that for most of them, they didn't have their jobs, you know?
If
So
not, you have to figure out on your own.
exactly. And it was frustrating. It was scary and all those things.
Yes.
Again, we don't know what the future is going to be like after our summer break or what have you. We don't know what's going
Mhm.
to entail for us, right? So
No.
you need to start looking, ahead. You need to start planning
Way
ahead
ahead.
in terms of additional source of income, as I mentioned
Mhm.
before. It's so important, ladies. And again, I know that not everybody is an entrepreneur type of person. There's
Mhm.
some women just don't like to be in the house like that. They got to be outdoors. They gotta work, and
Yep.
that's all good. But there are some who prefer being home, and they are
I know
doing
I
what
do.
they need to do. Yeah, especially if you
Yes.
have multiple kids like that. Yeah,
Yep.
at some point,
Mhm.
you need to be home because
You need to be
getting
home
a
raising
babysitter,
kids.
yeah, getting a babysitter or going taking them to like to like a little
Center, a daycare
daycare
center.
center. Them things are
It's
expensive.
expensive. And some of them you gotta bring your own food. They don't even feed the child for all the money that you're spending. And
That's
even
crazy.
I can remember as
Wow.
as long as I worked when I was working. Every job I've had, I always had something on the side.
Yeah.
I just always had that. And for me, a business was vital for me. And I like Tawana was saying, we know that not entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but for those who have the desire to own a business and run a business, find something that you're passionate about, but also leverage your job as a way to feed into your business. You know, yes, I was that employee that most of her check was going towards bills and expenses and things like that, but I always had even a little bit aside to
Hmm.
invest in being coached or invest in my business expenses and things like that. I had a VA. Therese was actually one of my first VAs, and I was working when I hired Therese. I was
Hmm.
still working, years ago before I
Yeah.
left my corporate job. So a lot of people think sometimes, Tawana, that once you leave the job and then you're going to be investing, then no, you do that prior to, you know what I'm saying, to um, you leaving your job or what have you, if that's your choice. I know a lot of people that work and run a business on the side. It's totally
Right.
nothing wrong with that. Again, they leverage their business income. Also, what I also did, a lot for one, because I leveraged my job as like my network. So
Mm.
back in the day when I was working, I was primarily doing network marketing. So yes, my office colleagues were my customers. You know what I'm saying? Their
Yeah.
their 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 husbands and their aunties and their sisters and their uncles, they were my customers as well. So let me say you're in a building, in a facility where you can network and build relationships. And yes, you may not can bring in your products or
Right.
your business cards at work, but I know you're probably in the parking lot talking when you're
Mm-hmm.
coming out of
Mm-hmm.
work. We used to always
Mm-hmm.
sometimes go to the local bars or restaurants around, the job sometimes, even for holiday corporate parties. Those are times where you connect the network and things like that, tune them into all the other things you have going on. So when I did leave my job, majority of my employees that I was close with knew, oh, she's doing her business because I've already spoken about. They already knew what I was doing prior to, right? Entrepreneurship is my mom and aunt and when she's like, absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes. So thank you for sharing that, please.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it works sometimes. I'm an entrepreneur. My husband isn't. That's not his thing. You know what I'm saying? And but if it is your thing, definitely start to that paycheck you get, start to feed into it. Also, very
Yeah.
important. This is something
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't do when I was working. Make sure you check your deductions they take out of your check because sometimes they can be taking a lot more than what they were supposed to. So I don't know. Don't inbox me say give me your pay stub and say teacher if you everyone lives in different states. Go speak to an accountant or somebody who has them look at the stub and making sure that the deductions are what they're supposed to be. I didn't know till after I left my job that I should have been getting more in my paycheck, but obviously when you first are hired, they don't human resources is not human resources. No shade to people out there who work in human resources. But y'all ain't really telling them new employees how to fill out for their W-2 and the what is it, 10 point whatever form those are. You just
Yeah.
giving it to them, it's time to fill it out and sign it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're not
Mm-hmm.
telling them what to check off, what to exclude or whatever like
Right.
that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's sort of an on purpose thing. So job alterations definitely go and check good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. Also, too, ladies, when it comes to you as a being your own businesswoman, is that you also
Right.
got to think about your inventory as well. You got to have a
Yes.
full stock of inventory because, of
Oh yeah,
course,
you
now,
mentioned that yesterday.
yeah, because of course, I'm an entrepreneur. I do my Mary Kay thing. I have my own thing going on, and I've been there, done that. I know how it is when you don't have, your business might be going well, but it's not as going as fast as you would like. And you may not get the sales as fast as you like, but then here comes
Hmm.
somebody that calls and say, "Oh, do you have such and such, such and such?" And I'm like, no,
Right.
or I'm
Right.
like, "Oh, well, let me check. Let me check." 9 times out of 10, I don't have it, so I have to go and contact one of my consultant sisters and get it from her, kind of thing, or what have you. Because as entrepreneurs, we have our slow seasons, and we have our
Right.
our good seasons or whatever, our fast seasons, and it happens. But if you still continue to work your business, whatever that business or businesses may be, make sure that you have a stocked inventory,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's so important to do that, because you're going to be entering after summer. You're going to be entering into the holidays. When fall gets here, it's holiday season.
That's
Even
right.
before holiday season actually approach, it's holiday season. So people are
Hmm.
going to connect with you. They're going to contact you, and they're going to ask you about some products or what have you. And you may decide to go ahead and promote some fall products or holiday products in advance or something like that. And you want to be able to have a fully stocked inventory or whatever it is, whether it's skincare, whether it's jewelry, whether it's your books, maybe you are
Yeah.
writers or something like that. You want to have that inventory available, even if you're not selling the books on your own, but you're probably selling through Amazon or something like that.
Right.
You just got to make sure that what you are selling, it is available, right?
It's
Um,
available. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's available, and that you guys, won't, feel being lack in that kind of situation,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Being
that's
lack,
the word.
because exactly, because that's your source of income. Right, that's your source of income, and you determine how
Hmm.
you utilize that income. Some of you use it to pay some miscellaneous bills. Some of you use it to put it towards a future bill for your kids for college or what have you. So you don't want to cheat your own self out like that without, just doing the simple things like making sure your your business is set up and all of that stuff, and your inventory is filled up or what have you. It's just so important, ladies, to make sure that you have everything available at that time, right? That's all we ask of you to do. Oh, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't stress enough the value of you purchasing marketing materials. Because we all can say, "Oh, I don't have enough customers and clients," but you gotta have your business cards. And I'm saying this to myself too. Get my I have on my to do is get my order business cards, order business flyers,
Mm-hmm.
order. If you have a business where you have to get sampling or some free products or what have you,
Yeah.
have that ready in your purse automatically. I was in Subways yesterday getting me a bite. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, and the guy's like, "I never seen you in here before." It is during the day. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And I'm young. Normally, a girl like me would be working somewhere. 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, people are working, right? So he's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I never seen you in here before. What do you do?" I said, "I'm self-employed." You know what I'm saying? He's like, "What that mean?" So I'm telling him like, "Oh my God, if I had my business card, I would have gave it to him." Because he was
Yeah.
totally wild at that, like asking me 1,001 questions
Wow.
and things like that. But people are always curious, guys, about what you do. You may think they're not. Like I always tell people, when you walking into places, smile.
Mm-hmm.
When you people walking by you saying good morning, those things are
Mm-hmm.
important because it shows that you are welcoming, right? But
Yeah.
marketing material is so important. I always
Mm-hmm.
say, try to connect with at least 5 people a day. Try to pass out, gather, as you're giving them your information, you're taking their information. I was even telling my team members last night, start writing down lists of names, people you connected with, their information so you can follow up with them.
Mm-hmm.
That will help grow your business beyond measure through time,
Right.
and you're
Mm-hmm.
planting seeds every single time. So that's important. Marketing material is definitely a necessity.
That
Yeah.
is good. That is good. Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have that, especially as an entrepreneur, consider, doing that, create your
Right.
business cards, some type of marketing tool that will be a blessing and it's accessible to do that. You could put it at your church maybe,
Yes.
or, have it in the back seat of your car window or something, they
Yep. That'd be
little
cool.
stickers and stuff, put on your bumper or whatever, market yourself, you
And if
know.
it's not for them, they'll pass that information on to other people.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
for sure, for
Yep.
sure. If you're part of a club, if you're part of a women's organization or something like that or whatever, let them know, what you're doing, what you're planning on doing, and you would love for them to sample your supplies,
Right.
whether it's baked foods, whether it's a cuisine, whatever
Right.
it is, and let them, try it out, and if they like it, then you could go ahead and create a packet or some sort of what have
Right.
you. I do that every now and then too with my Mary Kay. I have sample bags, and
Right.
I just charge like at least $5 for that, because I have a lot of samples in that little bag, but I also have
Right.
information
That's
in there
good.
too, and I just go ahead and say, hey, it's $5 for samples, $5 for samples, and I usually do it at my church most of the time, you know
Right.
and they support. They go ahead and
They
do it.
support. And people are now in we're in the era right now, to where everyone has something going on, something
Mm,
other than working. I live in New York, so maybe it's more common here than other places. But every time I go outside, somebody's selling something.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Batteries,
yeah.
water bottles. Somebody the other day was selling a whole cooler. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with a cooler? But it's somebody probably bought it. I don't know. I wasn't in there that long. And
Yeah.
it's we're in a day and age where if you're afraid to talk about what you do, you shouldn't be.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
something for everybody, and I think we just need to get
yeah,
out of our own heads, and start to
definitely.
focus on growth.
Yeah, yeah. So let's move on to number three. Again,
Yes.
ladies,
Oh, we're on
share
two.
with us. Yeah, share with us, ladies. What are the things that you are doing when it comes to your job or alterations
Right.
and stuff like that. The third thing, ladies, that we definitely need to be prepared for is life preparation. And I know this is
Yes.
a topic or a topic that we really don't like talking about, especially when it
Right.
comes to
Right. My
our loved
husband hates
ones.
this topic.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
And that's basically, life insurance, because again,
Yes,
going back to COVID, going back to that time when, especially in mid-March, all the way over, you
yes.
saw the numbers rising. Like it was
Rise
just
up.
unbelievable as to how many people was passing away every day. It was just
Right,
insanity when you saw the numbers rising up like that. And yeah,
right,
most of
right,
them passed away due to additional health issues, but there was some, it was
right,
quite a few of them that didn't have any health issues and they
right.
still
I remember
passed
you
away
saying that.
because we didn't think COVID was deadly like that. We heard about that
Right,
in China or in other countries and stuff like that, but you know again, we didn't take it seriously until after
right, right,
the fact. And then now you have people who passed away and they didn't have any type of form of financial support to
right,
bury
right,
their family or their loved ones. Because first of all, they couldn't travel. Remember,
right,
by that time, everybody was in lock-in. Nobody couldn't
right,
travel. Nobody couldn't leave the house. Nobody couldn't go over to see their loved ones. Nobody couldn't go to the hospital. Everybody had to use an iPad or some sort
right.
to see their loved ones for the last time, whether it was on life support or, a ventilator machine or what have you. And that pretty much was the bulk of it from that point on, right? So these are
Right.
things, ladies, that we definitely need to have a discussion with our families and our loved ones about the life insurance and stuff. Start have a policy or what have you prepared for all family members. To be honest, whoever is old enough, and and start doing that now because again, you just don't know. I
You
see it all
don't
the
know.
time in the
Yeah. And
news
having
where
your paperwork in order. Because I know my father passed away. I know that was like 60 years ago. But there was a lot of paperwork that my mother should have had in order that wasn't in order. So having everything in order, like even the other day, we got, they needed a letter or they needed our marriage license to prove that we're still married. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
In order for us to be on the policy. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I guess, people are divorcing but not telling their providers and whatnot.
oh yeah, yeah,
And guess what? I didn't have my marriage license. I didn't know where the heck it was. I don't pull it out on a day-to-day basis. I thought I had it somewhere, and then I'm like, I thought I put it in a place that
yeah,
it was there, but it wasn't there. So then I had to figure out how I'm gonna get my license. I couldn't go out here in Queens because we didn't we're not licensed here to get
hmm,
married. We were doing it on Long Island. So I had to go back to town hall out
wow,
all the way out to Long Island to go get a marriage certificate and pay the money for it. So it's like we, it aggravated me because I had to scramble because there was a deadline. The deadline was literally the next day.
yeah,
And I had to give that
yeah,
information. So that goes to show it's like getting your paperwork in order, having everything in a safe spot
hmm.
together, and that way if something comes up, you can pull it out and have it.
Yeah, especially for those of you who are working with a company or what have you, and they
Right,
provide all those things for you when you start your job or what have you. Go ahead and look back at that. There's some people who are already starting their creating their will and all those things like that while they're
right.
still here. Again, it's a very sensitive topic or what have you, but it definitely needs to be dealt with, especially
It
in
definitely
African
does.
American culture. We really don't
Right.
talk about that stuff.
We
Very
don't.
few do, but majority of us don't, and that is not good because we
It's
just try
not.
to shy away from all of that, but we can't shy away from that. It's something
Nope.
that needs to be dealt with. And I know for some it's not even so much about just shying away because you don't want to talk about it. That's one thing, but it's also another issue because you just don't have the financial means, or you just don't have the knowledge of understanding of the preparation and all those things like that. And if we could just have someone to really break it down to the community about the benefits of having a life support and having this will, I think it would make it much more easier to digest, when it comes to the preparation process and all of that. Because now we have
Right.
people who are, depending on social media to be our life saver in
Yeah,
terms
go funding and stuff.
yeah, the GoFundMe pages, right? When they have to bury their loved ones and stuff,
Right.
and yeah,
Right.
people are doing that, but it shouldn't even come to that, to be
It
truthful and
shouldn't
honest,
even. Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't even come to that. I mean, if they do it, and that's great, but at least your family is covered because y'all took care of your business. You took care of the
Right.
business, right? So again, ladies, make sure you start looking at that. And especially for us entrepreneurs, that's something important too as well. Check that out, find out more about that or what have you. And you could start paying a little bit at monthly at a time. I know for my aunt that passed away a couple of summers ago,
Right.
she had already planned this a long time ago.
Everything out. Yep.
Yeah, she started paying, monthly small amounts every month for those years,
Yep. That's how you
and
do
then
it.
when she had passed away, her adult kids didn't have to do anything
Didn't
because
have
she
to
had
fight.
already had
Didn't have
everything
to.
laid out.
Yep. Didn't have to have a meeting or fight or get
Right.
back. Because that's what happens when you pass on. You're leaving a lot of garbage after that. Having to figure out
Absolutely.
what how things are going to go and how things are going to flow. And you don't want that. I know I don't want that for my kids
No.
at all. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
getting things, or there's also someone told me that this young lady whose husband passed away, she was saying like she had to think about what life she wanted once he's gone, like what things she
Mhm.
didn't want to worry about. She didn't want to worry about the light bill, the mortgage, and things like that. So really preparing beforehand on where the money was going to go, where the investments was going to go, things like that, made her not have to worry. So, like what you were saying with your aunt, she had her stuff in order. But
Yeah.
like I said, my personal thing, my husband hates talking about that, but I know this is a conversation that, yes, we're young, but you don't know what can happen. You never know.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
having those
Yeah.
conversations is important.
It is important. And like you said, you never know. Because again,
Never
let's go
know.
back to COVID. I hate going back to it, but it is a prime example of what we need to do to prepare ourselves. A lot of people wasn't prepared to lose their loved ones so
Nope.
suddenly at that time. Nobody was expecting that,
Right,
but since it
right,
happened, I do believe that some people really did started to take that initiative and made some
right.
major life changing decisions, to prepare themselves for the unexpected, but for the
Right.
majority, I know people are not doing that, and
Exactly. And this is information that people are not just going to give you. You have to get out there and do your research and get on phone calls and have conversations with agents and people who are specialized in it. So a lot of times people say, well, I'm going to wait till I get something in the mail or get something till my job tells me, or no, don't do that. Like you
yeah,
get out there and you do your due diligence and learn, on your own. You actually will learn a lot more if you do your whole research about
yeah.
these things, because people tell you limited information all the time when they're giving it
Hmm.
to you, not giving you the full picture. Yeah,
Right, absolutely. So let us know, guys. Just comment below. Are
right.
these tips or these points are helping you right now? Are you
Mhm.
actually taking advantage of what we're talking about so far? And if you are, just say, yeah,
Right.
I'm doing it right now, and all those things. Let us know what you're doing at this point. So let's move on to number 4. The
Number
next thing.
4.
That we definitely need to take into consideration is home improvements. This is the time when spring, not especially late spring, early summer, a lot of homeowners, start taking care of their home improvements, getting their roof done, or, take care of landscaping, or all those things like that. And yeah, that's, you got the financial support to do that. That's great. Um, but also, ladies, we definitely need to think about, the furnace. We're not using the furnace during the summertime, of course, because it's hot, right? But when the season change and it starts getting cold, and if any of you live in a state that supports all 4 seasons,
Child, listen.
and God forbid when it gets cold and that furnace says, I'm dead, I'm cold,
Them pipes bust.
baby.
Baby, I have seen. I used to work in housing, and that was something that they did not do. They did not insulate the pipes during the summertime, and when winter came, or vice versa. Man,
Yeah.
floods. You think, oh my God, that was such a horrible day. That's thousands of dollars worth of damage. That is like you got to figure out how you gonna pay
Nothing to play with.
it.
Nothing
Hmm.
to play with, honestly. That's the time during the summer to get your furnace updated. That's the
Yes,
time
I
to
was gonna say
really,
that too. Yeah.
yeah, to get it updated, to get it serviced. And I know some companies, they charge an arm and a leg just to get the diagnostics. They
It's
charge
more
like
money when it's
$75 or whatever. But I'd rather pay that 75 than pay $500 or whatever,
seven
in
thousand,
investment.
and sometimes just your
Yeah,
income, you don't get that back.
you don't.
I remember
You
one
don't.
year I got half back for the home improvements and stuff, things
Uh-huh.
that I just let go by and it was broke and spending a lot of money on it. So yeah, your car maintenance,
All of
all
that.
that, and we just spent
Yes.
3K on our Jeep over something that was like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
just
and we
like
don't think about these things,
we
guys. We
don't.
really, really
Mm-mm.
don't think about this stuff. We get all caught up in like, okay, I'm ready to go on vacation. I'm ready to get away. And I
Uh
understand that,
huh.
and that's fine. But for those of us who may not even consider going anyway for the summer, this is the time to really do that home improvement for the future. Meaning that,
Yes.
okay, yeah, it's
Yes.
going to get cold in the next 4 months from now. And I'm thinking like June, 4 months from June. And you know where you are, your state, how it gets cold. In Michigan, it starts getting a little cold and chilly
Oh
like in
yeah.
mid-October. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we start putting that heat on. We
Yep.
try to keep it off as possible, but when it gets really cold, it gets cold. And
It gets
so we gotta
cold.
get the heat on. And so, during the summertime, the smart thing, we just get that thing serviced, make sure there isn't no hiccups, no drama, no issues or whatever, because again, it's like the house, the furnace came with the house when we bought the house. It's 20 years old now. So some of the pieces you basically have to, they have to order it or whatever, and that may cost a couple of $100 or something like that. We had that incident during the summertime when we needed air, and
Yeah.
that air conditioner was blowing heat. It was like,
Oh Lord.
we had to get that thing serviced, and they charged us like at least two something or whatever, and we really
Yeah.
didn't have it, but we had to get it because it
We
was
had to
just
make it
hot.
happen.
You
It's
know what
too
I'm
hot,
saying,
honey.
baby?
She had
It's
an
too.
afro, y'all. Let me tell you, that's how hot. I
Okay,
was like, oh.
girl, I'm serious. So yeah, look at, make a list of things. If you are a homeowner, yeah, you are solely responsible for, keeping the maintenance of your homes in
Right.
check. So make sure you take care of those things prior to the fall winter season.
Right.
Make sure your roof is okay, so you don't have no leakage problem
Oh,
stuff. You know what I'm saying?
we get
I'm
cold and
telling
stuff.
you, make sure you get your trees trimmed down. And I'm saying that from personal
Right.
experience because, baby, them squirrels, they like to come up in our roof and have a party, okay?
Yeah, we
And
used to have a fireplace. They used to come down the chimney. It was like hell trying to call somebody to put
really?
it out. And another thing we want to add is punctuate your house. Like make your house a peaceful home. I just bought some more diffusers and different things like that just to you sleep better. You come home and your home is like your sanctuary. I know it's getting warmer
Yes.
now. Many of y'all plan to be out and about, but also make your home like your own spiritual sanctuary. I think that's
Oh,
vitally
yeah.
important. Yeah.
That is
Hmm.
so important because when you want to come home and you just want to be in a safe place because you already dealt with work and you dealt with coworkers, you dealt with just the public transportation, or you're just dealing with the traffic and all of that, and you
Right.
just want to
Right.
be in a place where you don't have to deal with additional problems,
Right. That's
additional
right.
worries. It's bad enough you come home and there's bills piled up. You don't want to you don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? And of course some things are just some things happens that is beyond your control. Totally understand that. But again, you don't want to ignore or overlook, some things that is minor, but then it will become a major problem later on. So
It will.
again, and like I said, for homeowners, you may have water sprinklers, that you use during the spring and summer season, of course. When the fall comes, they call a fall winter, no, called winterization or something, and they come and they turn off our sprinklers for us. They make sure they pump up all the water in the pipe, so when it gets to
Right.
winter time,
Yeah, that's
it will
important.
expand and explode and all those things like that. So again, these things you gotta definitely get in, get that checked and all of that stuff, so you can have a peaceful season when you are home, and especially during the winter time. And even with your car, if you have a car, make sure you get your car
Hmm.
serviced. All of these
Yep.
things. I'm just saying that, guys, because again, I'm just going based on my experience and based on what I saw throughout the pandemic. We were home, yes, but again, people were having some major issues and problems and stuff, and you
Right.
don't want to go through that again this coming season in your life. So just be
Right.
smart
Right.
and be wise. Make the initiative and just make sure that you are planning now. So when the holiday comes, you will be okay. You don't have to stress out about a whole lot of stuff
Hmm.
and wonder where you're going to pocket $600 to pay for that whatever whatever service you need to get done and all those things like that. Okay, the last point that we want to share with you guys tonight before we move on, for oh, and again, guys, don't forget to register for our sister to sister uh,
Yes, please
event.
do.
Yeah, that is coming up on the 29th of April. We are
Hmm.
looking forward to, start that out. But again, share that information. Once you register, make sure you go ahead and pass that information on, invite some of your sister friends to be a part of that event as well. Okay, it's going to be at
Yes,
11 a.m.
definitely.
and it's going to be a great conversation. We're going to be talking about mental health and how to stabilize your health and all those great things, right? So the last thing for tonight, ladies, that we're going to talk about, or what you need to do to prepare yourself, is to create a nest egg. And it's basically going back to number one in the sense about financial stability and all of that stuff. But it's so important, ladies, to create that nest egg. Start putting money aside. That's basically what a nest egg is. A nest egg don't even have to be a financial thing. It'll be something else too. But you definitely want
Yep.
to start creating something, and put it to the side. So when that time comes, and if you get in a financial dilemma, you will already have the money. You will have the means. You
Yes.
don't have to pull out your credit card, and overwhelm that, right? You just say, oh, okay, well, I saved some money because I had my business that helped me. I had a great elevation of sales, and so that helped a lot. And so, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to be stressed. See, that's the thing. You don't want to be stressed this coming season in the fall, guys,
Yes.
because during the pandemic, a lot of people were stressed. Not
Yes.
just with the pandemic alone, COVID alone was stressful because
Yes, it was.
nobody want to get sick. Nobody
Yep.
want to get sick, right? Because they
Hmm.
saw the outcome of that. But also on top of that, people were losing their jobs. People didn't know how in the world they were going to be able to afford to keep a roof over their head and pay for the kids, pay for the
Yes.
kids, get food and all of that, medical bills and all of that stuff. So if you don't want that to be your story, right, then go ahead and start creating, a nest egg, or a little something something that you can just preserved for later, right?
Yes.
What do you think, Tisha?
That is important, and you got to be disciplined too. That's one of the
Yeah,
things that my husband and I started to do our next. We had to be like, even when we needed to, we can't touch that. You got to
right.
be really, really disciplined, and I think that's important. It's like sometimes, like, well, I would just take it out and I would put it back later. And it's like, that
Yeah,
don't happen. The devil's always trying to sweep in and mess up what you're trying to build. So you got to be disciplined. You just got to pretend it's not even there. Just keep adding to it. And you just like, I'm just adding to it. Adding the percentage. I always say start off with a low percentage. It's like, oh, you can put away 5% of your income and put that away. And then every quarter you raise it to 5, 10, 20, whatever, right? But
right.
just, be disciplined, okay? When it gets upwards into the thousands, you gotta pretend, listen, that's not there. Because when times get rough, or there's an emergency that came up or whatever, you will be thanking God you got that nest egg. And you can have several nest eggs. Somebody did a YouTube video one time talking about that, where you can have several different nest egg going on, and it could be labeled for different things or what have you. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for me, I try to save as much as I can. I teach my
Right.
daughters to do the same thing too. Like when since they are working and everything, to start, saving their money and,
Mhm.
put like maybe $5 away or something like that. Because you if you don't touch it, if you try to discipline yourself to not touch that thing, you'll see how much money you have saved. You know,
Yes.
and you'll be so proud of yourself for not, breaking that, cheating yourself basically, because
Very
you
proud.
are embezzling your own self. You do that.
Yeah, that's true.
You are embezzling your own money, because, you said you're not going to touch it. That money is for other things, right? And so that means
Right.
if it gets to that point, that means you have to like make some changes with what you are currently doing right now with your finances, or what
Right.
have you. Try your best not to use credit cards. So I know sometimes it can be
Perfect.
helpful, because of, the finances not really coming in the way you would like and all of those things. But some people use it, to build their credit and all of that. They use it for emergency reasons, and I totally understand that and all. But again, we don't want to be in that position during the fall season where we like, well, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have enough, or I can't, supply the needs to get this for my child's school program or that kind of thing. Because I've been there before. I've been there
Yep.
before. And it is not a good feeling where you're just not
No, it's not.
financially able to support your child to get the things they need for school or whatever the case may be. So again, y'all, make sure you just, just consider doing something like that if you haven't done that already.
Right.
Post in the comment below. Let us know. Are you creating a nest egg? Have you done that already? Are you doing it now? How has it helped you thus far?
Right.
Let us know. Is it convenient to do it? Is it not worth doing it? Because some people don't find it to be profitable to do that.
I'm
Some people like,
shocked.
but I think you need to do something, if that's not it, then what
Yes.
is it that you need, what you're doing to preserve that extra change that you are
That's right.
getting? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let us know, ladies.
Yeah. I think what she said a comment. She said she needed this conversation. I'm glad we all need it. We all need that conversation. Talanta and I were talking the other day about our children. When my son goes to college, it's going to start being back. I have 5 kids, so it's going to be back to back to back to back to back. So we are like putting stuff aside for that because my son he's deciding where he wants to go. But I know my daughter she wants to go to like a top school for science. Like she wants to be mastered in the weather and space exploration and stuff.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
I was just speaking to a guidance counselor today. She was like, "Yeah, you need to start getting into some summer programs, paid summer programs that are like in the thousands of dollars." I'm like, "Oh my gosh," So
That's awesome.
already those expenses are coming up. So you want to give your children the best opportunities and the best things that they need to prepare their futures and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm glad
I'm
you
glad you
mentioned
mentioned
that.
that. What you said.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too, Tisha, about about your son and about the education, because there's a lot
Right.
of us, that's watching us that have kids that are still in high school,
Yeah.
and they're soon to graduate within the year, if not 2 years from now,
Right.
and this is something that you definitely need to start thinking ahead in preparation for college expenses, because
Have
college
to.
ain't cheap. It's not
It's
cheap
not.
at all.
It's
She
not.
says, I'm 43 and no one ever told me the things I heard
Yeah, and
tonight.
that's how it normally is. It's like even now, I learned so much today when I went to school meeting because yes, my daughter's in middle school, but she's in 7th grade. High schools are looking at this year, 7th grade
Yeah,
year. She's not even a senior yet. So I'm learning as I go too as a parent. That just be like, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's that's why we gotta constantly do our research. We gotta ask questions. I feel like sometimes when parents get in a room or when they are in meetings, sometimes they don't ask, and I feel like we should start being open enough to say, "Hey, what do y'all have provided for my child to get into the best school, the top tier school?" You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
really, advocate for that or what have you. So I think that's important.
Absolutely. And with Keitha, you are not by yourself, honey, because
You're
I'm
not.
54 years
'Cause I
old
was
and it took,
like,
baby, it took me years to figure it out things too, how I wish things were
right,
told to me when I was just a teenager
right,
about college. That wasn't brought to my attention about college and financial aid and all of that stuff. And
yep,
I was sharing that with Letitia. I had an opportunity to speak to Naya's peers in the choir at her high school about a month or so ago in regards to preparation for college for them. And a lot of these kids, and this is a predominantly white community that I'm living in, you would think that they will have that leverage of, preparing themselves and understanding about financial aid and all of that stuff. Nope. They
hmm
are so clueless about that stuff. They only know about FAFSA. They only know about the SAT scores, for those who are juniors, soon to be seniors, and those who are seniors getting ready to go to college, for those of them. And they have no clue about how to prepare, what they need to prepare for,
hmm
scholarships and stuff like that. They are totally oblivious about that kind of information. So, again, this is something that we definitely need to discuss with our kids and tell them, okay, you're not going to be in high school forever, right? You
nope,
get ready to graduate soon, and you need to start prepping and planning or looking or researching about where you see yourself, what you want to do in life, and all those things. Because, yeah, they're in middle school now for some, but baby, when you turn around, they're in the 10th grade.
we're in 10th grade already. And it's
Baby,
time goes by so fast. And before
it
you
does.
know it, yes, like you just said, she's 43, I'm 40. I'm going to be 80. God
Yeah,
willing, one day. And I don't want to be living up under my child. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying anything wrong with that. You got to do. But I said, I want to be traveling and things like that. So it's
right,
like really making
right.
sure they're secure and we're secure too at the same time. So we're like doing both. We're trying to like, what's the word people say? Trying to make sure that there are no fires, no
Mm,
no issues in the future. Trying to make sure preparation is done while
right.
still living the day to day life of prices going up and politics and all this other stuff. It's heavy. It's heavy. So that's why being prepared. I was even telling my daughter this morning, and she was nervous about something. I said, when you're prepared, that's when your
Mhm.
confidence comes in. That's when you know, okay, it's gonna be all right. We're prepared for this. We're
Yeah,
prepared for it. Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing I forgot to mention for our first point about the financial thing was about your taxes too, because we talked about that yesterday about the taxes. We get your tax refunds and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I understand. I used to be the same way too. When you get your tax refund, yeah, you want to go shopping, you want to do your thing or whatever. But at this day and age, right now, you don't need to be doing no shopping. You need to put that money
Exactly.
and put that as a nest egg. How about that?
Yes,
Make that's
yes, that needs to go straight in there and even start researching to see what does the wealthy do with their income tax money. My baby is in high school and I haven't. So got to. Oh my God. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's important. I told Talanta last night. I had almost, my son, and like, what do you want to do?
yeah.
Like really asking him, like, I can't hold your hand. I was telling him that once you
There
turn 18, I'm not your parent guardian no more. Y'all know how to, when a
you
letter
go.
come in the mail, it says parent guardian of, it's not going to say that. It's just going to say the child's name. So now
Right.
you are on your own, and I think we have to literally push them out of the nest. Now, when I was going to college, I was excited. I went online. I was ready to leave home, honey. I was ready to get out there. But now it's like these kids are just like sort of like the waiting on us to sort of ignite
Right.
them, and it's like, yeah, we have to.
You
Even
have to.
Kawancha, you said a good point. Like I'm asking him, whatever you find, son, make sure the school has a cafeteria. You don't have to leave the facility to eat because he eats a lot. So
Yeah, Lord.
we gotta get on it. Like I'm telling y'all right now, I don't care if it's out in middle school or high school.
Yeah, because the
Get on it
counselors at
as
those
soon.
schools, they are not going to give those kids the information as they
They're
should.
not.
As they should.
They're not.
They're going to give them the basic stuff of what they need to prep for,
Right.
especially for the SATs, or they may talk about college, like, here's some college information or whatever. They're not going to get into depth with that. They're just not.
Right.
It's our responsibility as the parents to really
Right.
grill that information into their heads so they can start prepping and looking and researching as to what they want to do for their
Right. Right. That's
It's
true. You
important
have to do
because I'm
that.
telling high
Hmm.
school
And
is it.
sometimes these schools only got one guidance counselor per grade, and you're talking about if you live in the
Yep,
city area, you got thousands of students that
that's the
they just
truth.
don't have the time. Obviously,
They
they're going to
don't.
help the ones that are the highest academic students, but the ones that are struggling, they're like, well,
Mhm.
unless the
Mhm.
parents advocate for them. So yes, like you said, start getting your son or daughter. I don't know if it's for a girl. And so first ask them what is it they want to do. Because I told my daughter
Yeah.
today, you have to have a major and a minor, just
There
in
you
case.
go.
In case
Come
you see,
on.
well, I'm just going to school for this. Okay, choose two things to go to do dual degree because you don't
Yeah.
know what's going to work out and what's not going to work out. So at least you have those
Right.
both degrees to say, all right, this market is not, there's not a lot of opportunity in this market, but I also have this bachelor's degree or master's in this. So
Yeah.
it we got to have those conversations. Oh, so
Amen. It's
important.
the truth. It is the truth. So, ladies, this concludes our 5 points tonight for
Yes,
our topic. I hope this came right on time for you, ladies. Again, definitely, if you haven't really heard everything, you could go back and listen to it again, and also just share this segment to some of your sister friends as well, because it
right.
applies to all of us. It applies to all of
Everybody.
us. It's just a friendly reminder of us really starting to think ahead of the game and just to be prepped and ready for whatever is to come in the near future for us.
Yes,
That's it, honestly.
that
I don't think
part.
we have a what's news tonight. Honestly, I checked
I
and we
think
don't.
we do. Trees put it
Do
in the
we?
chat here.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, pull it up, Trees.
We do. I know, child. I ain't paying no attention. I don't see one.
She put in the chat here on. She's pulling it up now. Ooh,
Oh,
who's this?
okay, Miss Thing.
So this says
Wow.
living fearless black female CEO empowers breast cancer survivors tackling wow disparities in healthcare. Wow. Oh my goodness. How you pronounce her name? Mamaya?
I don't
Wow, I
know.
can't think of it. Mamaya Carmo is stage 2 breast cancer survivor. Wow. Founder and CEO who is seriously pouring into her life purpose in a world that is stacked against Black women's health. I was reading up on this before, how there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, when we go for our checkups sometimes, there's a lot of things that they overlook,
Mm-hmm.
right? That later
Mm-hmm.
on down the line, we have suffered, big health issues with it. So this
Mm-hmm.
says back in 2006, the dynamic mastermind behind the Tingley, Tiger Lily, Tiger Lily, that's what it is, Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, one
Mm-hmm.
that is more aggressive and deadly in a young black woman. Wow, I didn't was it triple deadly breast cancer? Wow. 17 years later, Camaro has become a passionate leader in women's health, creating and carrying out national health for women and girls, with a goal of eliminating disparities of age, stage, and color. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, slow down. Share some pictures, Therese. Thank you, love. Wow. So she's a breast cancer survivor who has created an awesome foundation. Wow.
Awesome. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she spent 14 years working a full-time job, single parenting, and building uh, Tiger Leaf full-time. And people wouldn't fund me. Wow, that happened. That's common. No one was teaching me how to grow, and I kept hearing that I was small in one person's show. But how do you grow when you're getting pennies and others are getting millions? You talk
Mm.
about her foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Tiger Lily. Yeah.
Tiger Lily. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, y'all. So definitely check this young lady out. I know definitely cancers of all types definitely affect us health wise as women of color. Definitely get
Yeah.
those checkups. I know I need to am I
Yeah.
supposed to get my mammogram now? I'm 40. So I'm supposed to wait till 50.
Probably now.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm,
Yeah. Get your husbands to get their little checkup. I know it's uncomfortable for them, but they gotta do it.
yeah.
And
She's
I get it
beautiful.
too. When you're a mom, you always put everybody's health first. I'm also guilty of that because you want to make sure your kids got their doctor appointments on point, their immunizations on point, your husband is doctor appointments together. Sometimes we put us way last, but definitely,
Yeah.
ladies, just go for all your checkups and what have you to make sure everything is working out the way it's supposed to be. All
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. So this concludes our what's oh, good to see you both side by side
Hey, who's
again.
that?
Aw,
Yeah,
thank
we're always
you.
here, honey, but we got a lot going on. So,
Yeah, Lord, we got,
yes,
got a
we
lot
have a
going
lot
on.
going on.
Oh my goodness,
Yes,
yeah.
but we love to be here with y'all. Yes, y'all keep
hmm
tuning in.
Yeah, so this concludes our What's News tonight, guys. And yeah, so we're totally excited about again for our self-care event that's going to be coming up April 29th, which is that last Saturday of April. And it's going to be a great event. Again, it's all about mental health and how we as women need to really start learning how to take better care of ourselves, of our hearts and our soul and mind, how to flush out all of the stuff that we've been burying for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a great guest that's going to bless us with her expertise, if you will, and share
Mm-hmm.
some things, some golden nuggets to us as well. And it's going to be at 11 a.m. So it's brunch hour at that time for us
Mm-hmm.
ladies. So, again, go ahead and register. And oh yeah, and LaShawn, if she's still here, she has registered already.
Woo woo,
So
Dollar
yeah,
Shot.
Yay, LaShawn.
Yes.
So she had registered already, so she got her seat covered, so she's good to go. But the rest of you queens, come on, do not procrastinate because April is actually the first day of April. It's this Saturday, so
It is.
before you even know it, it'll be the 29th, guys. It's gonna come very, very quick. Okay. And
Very
also
fast.
and share this information again to some of your sister friends and invite them to participate in this event, even though they're not part of the tribe as of yet. But I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that, those who watching us on YouTube, they may not even be part of the tribe, but they are watching our videos and they like what they see. And so, hey, just go ahead and I'm opening that invitation for those of you who watching us right now.
Mm-hmm.
You are welcome to sign up as well and get your seat and look forward to what we got to share with you on that day. Yeah, I'm good.
Right. All
Yeah.
right, we're gonna step into the afterglow. So if y'all want to join us, Teresa put the link on Zoom. I'm about to log in there over to there right now. So please go to that link. The password is sister in all lowercase. So we're not going to be on long. We're going to be on for about maybe 30, 35 minutes or what have you to chat it up. And definitely come along and meet some awesome like-minded women. Okay? So till next
hmm
time, love on y'all sister, y'all. Y'all have a great
Yeah.
day. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. Bye
Bye,
now.
guys.